All right, ladies and gentlemen, the market is very much still moving sideways, but it could be very much worse. You could be stuck at Burning Man. It looks like God saw that man burning down there and he decided to piss on it and put it out. That transformed the whole area into a giant muddy hellscape, and now supposedly about 70,000 people are trapped there and there might be Ebola. So now surely they're going to send in the government and find a way to spend our taxpayer money on all of these stupid hippies. Happy Labor Day. This week we've got the S&P Global Services PMI coming in, the ISM non-manufacturing PMI and prices. We've got initial jobless claims and crude oil inventories. I don't think really any of this is probably going to be moving the market, and like I said in my previous video, even if it does move the market, it's not really going to matter, because we're all looking forward to when there's actually going to be that Bitcoin spot ETF that's eventually going to be approved. Here we have the next upcoming second deadlines for all of these Bitcoin spot ETFs. And in my opinion, we're probably going to be seeing all of these being approved right around the same time. And it should probably be happening there in October because of Grayscale's victory in their spot ETF case against the SEC. As this article on Reuters says, both parties have 45 days to appeal the ruling, in which case it would either go to the U.S. Supreme Court or an en banc panel review, and it's unclear if the SEC will appeal. And if Grayscale ultimately prevails and the SEC does not appeal, the court would specify how its decisions should be executed. This could include instructing the SEC to approve the application or to revisit Grayscale's application, in which case the SEC could still reject the proposal on other grounds. This is kind of unclear here, but I'm pretty sure what they're saying is the Supreme Court could specify that it wants the SEC to actually approve the application, or it could instruct them to revisit the Grayscale application, and if they instruct them to revisit the application, then they could actually reject the proposal on other grounds. If the Supreme Court just instructs the SEC to approve the application, then I don't really think they're going to be able to reject it and say that it's basically on other grounds. I think they're actually going to have to push it through, and if they do that, then it would only make sense for them to go ahead and push all of these other ones through. And even if they don't want to, that would basically mean that there's precedent and they will ultimately have to end up probably pushing these through eventually. But since BlackRock is basically the puppet master that pulls on all of the strings, I think that they're probably going to be getting theirs approved before or at the same time as Grayscale. And that decision has to be made within the next 45 days as of the 29th, meaning that there's 40 days left, and that'll land the decision on the 14th of October, which is just a couple days before the deadlines for all of these second deadlines for the rest of the filings that are going on. So basically, the SEC has until the 14th of October to decide if they're actually going to appeal the ruling. And if they don't announce that they're actually going to be appealing it, then the U.S. Supreme Court is going to make their decision. And if the court does specify that they want the SEC to approve the application, then that will probably mean that all of the rest of these applications are going to be approved as well. And it could be lining up at right around these deadlines, and that could force them all to be approved. If that happens, I don't think I even really need to tell you what's going to happen to the price, because it's obviously going to explode to the upside. And with all of the crypto channels being pretty bearish, surprisingly, and the fear and greed index being in fear again, this could be a great opportunity for a contrarian bet at the end of the month, because after this BlackRock ETF gets approved and all of these big asset managers start pouring their trillions of dollars into the space, we're never coming back to these prices ever again, in my opinion. I mean, even Larry Fink of BlackRock said that Bitcoin has the potential to surpass any currency that's currently out there, including the US dollar, overtaking it and replacing it as the world reserve currency. And the government is obviously not going to stop spending, and neither are the rest of the governments around the world, as they continue to print their fiat currency that's not backed up by anything and then bash Bitcoin for not being backed up by anything, except it is. It's backed up by proof of work. And as these governments do continue to print money, this is obviously going to be pushing more people into hard assets like Bitcoin. And we're starting to see that in countries around the world where they are having hyperinflation already, just like Turkey. According to this article by Crypto Potato, 52% of Turks are already crypto investors. And that's probably just because they're currency is actually so unstable that they have to be into cryptocurrency or some other asset or another currency so that they don't just lose all of the money that they worked for that day by the time that they wake up the next morning. If you don't think that can happen here, then you're sorely mistaken, and it definitely can, and it probably will, especially after the government continues to print money and funds all of these proxy wars all around the world. And there's only so many times that the government and the Fed are going to be able to play with the cycles and do this whole raising of interest rates and manipulation of the whole system before it all comes crumbling down, and you're going to need an asset like these guys do over there in Turkey. And let me know in the comments, how many times do you think they can actually kick this can down the road? And how many more years do you think that they can continue to print before we have real hyperinflation like they're seeing over there in Turkey? Either way, don't forget I've got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can get early access to all of them on X. Also, if you want to support my channel, you can find my gear over at onlygoodcrypto.com. And if you want real-time updates in between videos, then you can find that over at my Discord, and it's free, link down in the description. Thank you so much for hitting that like, subscribe button, and following on X. And most importantly, don't forget to have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. This is Ebisu. He's named after one of the 7 lucky gods of Japan. According to legend, he will bring wealth and prosperity to anybody who evokes his name. So don't forget to write his name in the comments or you'll bring dishonor to your whole portfolio. And check out this video right here. Say goodbye, Ebisu.